everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do the faux tile technique. We're going to be using these two stamp sets. One is Palm Paradise and the other is A Million Little Things. So let's get started. I'm using a piece of white daisy cardstock cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm putting it into my scoring tool at a diagonal, and I'm scoring in 1-inch increments, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm lining it up with the 3.5-inch mark on my scoring tool, and I'm taking that center score line and making sure that it's straight, and then I'm going to tape it down to make sure it doesn't move, and then I'm going to make additional score lines at 1-inch increments to create a bunch of 1-inch squares scored on my card, and they're set at a diagonal. So now I have a piece of masking tape, and I have cut a 1-inch square in it, and you can use post-it notes too if you want to use that if you don't have the masking tape. And I'm taking a blending brush with Carolina ink, and I'm just lining that square up on each of the scored squares, and I am blending in just a little bit of ink right at the base of that diagonal diamond shape so that it appears to as if the light is coming from the top, and it kind of gives it a three-dimensional look. So I'm going to go around with all of the squares on this panel. There's a couple of ways to do this technique, and I'll show you another one after I complete the first card. This one is if you're using your panel as a background piece with die cut pieces on top of it to create your card. And then I'll show you another technique with the other stamp set. So we'll complete this card first, and I'm just going around and moving my mask and blending in some ink on each of those little squares. There's a few ways to do this, and if you have a scoreboard that has diagonal lines, that's another tool that you could use to do this. I don't, so I've figured out how to do it with the straight line score tool, and this worked for me, so I'm showing you what I figured out. So I'm just going around for every single square and blending in a little bit of that Carolina ink. Okay, so that's my background panel. Now let's create a card using it. I have off camera, I've stamped and colored in and die cut a bunch of these images from the Palm Paradise stamp set, and I'm going to be using some of this ribbon that it's black with gold mesh, and currently you'll find it in the sale section of my online store, and I'll leave a link along with links for all of the supplies that I've used for these projects in the description below. Okay, so I am kind of just lining things up on my card and figuring out where the parrot is going to sit, and I'm just creating like an anchor for everything to be set up along with that strip of ribbon. And so I've got that tacked down with glue dots, and I'm just kind of laying things out before I actually start gluing things down to see which die cuts I want to use and how I want to set them up on my card. So I'm getting there. And I figured I thought that I needed a little extra something for that ribbon, and so first I did a bow and it was too big, didn't like it, so then I just did a simple knot. And I thought I could kind of make that go vertically or at a diagonal right on that edge there. And remember, this is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock, and so I will have a border, and so some of those palm fronds that are hanging over the edge, that's okay because they'll still fit the card. So let's build our card. I'm going to do a side fold A2, and I've got a base of green apple, and that's cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to glue that down. And then I have a piece of craft foam. I'm going to pop the panel using the craft foam. So I'm going to glue that with the white Tombow glue, and we'll get that set up on the card base. And then we'll start adding all of our palm fronds and the parrot and the sentiment to the card. Okay, so I'm going to glue everything with the aqua Tombow just in case some seeps out. The aqua, it sets up and dries matte, so just in case. And it does take a second or two to actually set up, so in this situation, and that was good because I needed to slide that other one underneath, I forgot. So it all worked out. So I'm kind of building things and figuring out where I want everything to set on the card. I'm just kind of creating a cluster of greenery. And I'm going to pop that last palm leaf and the parrot and also the sentiment on the card. So I'm just using thin foam tape because this card already has quite a bit of dimension. So we'll get those pieces added. Had to fiddle with it just a little bit. All right, and then we'll get that parrot added. And then I decided I needed a little extra something. In that area right there. So I pulled out a yellow flower, and then I wound up adding another palm frond in the lower left corner. So here are some still pictures of the finished project. I love this stamp set, and the tri-blend markers, just you can make them so colorful. So that's the first one. Now let's do a second technique, and this is with a million little things. So I have my rose image and the sentiment set up in my MISTI. And again, I have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white daisy cardstock, and I'm going to ink it up in black because I'm going to color it in with the tri-blend markers as well. So I'm stamping, excuse me, I'm stamping this. And then I'm going to take my stamped panel and I'm going to set it up in my scoreboard exactly the same as I did the other one. And I'm going to do my score lines. However, I'm not going to score over the stamped image. So I'm kind of skipping. I'm scoring in between where the stamped image is and then skipping over. And then scoring in between. So it's going to have the appearance of kind of a 3D, like the stamped image is setting in front of the tiles when you're finished. And then I'm putting it into the scoreboard and lining up that center score line with the 3.5 inch mark and making sure that it's straight. And then I'm doing 1 inch increments of score lines. And again, I'm skipping over any part of the image that is stamped, and I'm just scoring in between. Okay, so that's that finished panel, and now I'm going to bring in the masking paper with the 1 inch square that I've cut out of the middle of it, and I'm going to do my blending the same way as the other panel. And I'm just kind of picking areas where there's no stamping and it makes sense for a shadow to be in that area. And just skipping the sections that have the flower stamped. And then off camera, I will color this image in and I'll show you the finished card. So you just keep moving your mask and blending everything in. Okay. So then off camera, I've used my tri-blends, and this is the completed colored panel. And let's make a quick card with this one. So I'm using some skinny ribbon that has gold down, it's black with gold down the middle, and I just made a little bow, simple bow, and I'm going to tack it down with a glue dot, and then I'm going to mat my card with black. And I'm going to build my card the same way as the other one. I'm going to glue the black cardstock down to the card base, and then put a piece of craft foam under my decorative panel. I'm gluing that with the Tombow white glue. This is 2mm craft foam. It's not very thick, but it just gives a little extra dimension and stability to that panel. And attach that little bow. And then for the last little step, I'm going to take a clear shimmer brush and I'm shaking it up, and then I'm going to squeeze out a little puddle. And I'm just going to tap some splatters of clear shimmer around my rose image, just to give a little shimmer and bling to my card. So that's my finished card, and I'll have some more pictures of it, and then I made a couple more and I'll have pictures of those as well. So all of these supplies are available in my online store. Again, I'll make a list with links in the description below. And you have a few more days to get these stamp sets. They're available until June 30th. I appreciate you taking some time and watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe link. I would really appreciate it. And if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up as well. Thanks for watching.